Hello, hello, hello. It is Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker. And today is Transformation Tuesday. I've got two of my brothers here with me so far, Mr. Jay Pasqua and Brian Smart, Mr. Content. So, between me motivating to get your goals right and get the mindset on point, Jay strategizing on storytelling, and Mr. Content doing what he's doing and telling us how to show up in all these different spaces in the way that's most effective, authentic, and genuinely us. I think we're ready to go. What do you guys think? I'm ready.
I'm ready.
You ready, Jay? Let's do
I'm
it.
ready.
Let's do it.
I'm
Let's
down.
do it. And y'all, Brian wins the avatar contest. Isn't that a cute avatar? I'm jealous. That is, I love it, and it captures the essence of Brian. I think so. I'm digging it. It makes me want to go work on one. For those of you who've heard me before, this is not what I typically sound like. However, sometimes on vacation you don't sleep enough, or you sleep too much, or the change of atmosphere, you come back not feeling as well as you usually do, and that's my situation this morning. Let me let Eric in. um, oh, can one of y'all message Eric and tell him I see him, but it's saying that his mic and cameras is not connected, so it won't let me add him yet until those are connected. But
I got it.
okay, thanks,
Okay.
Brian. All right. So what I was saying is I'm hoarse and I've got a little bit of a sore throat and the energy level is pretty low. The Fam Five has been killing it in my absence while me and my husband were celebrating our 24th wedding anniversary, which was yesterday. We enjoyed New Orleans. New Orleans owes us absolutely nothing. We had a blast. However, maybe I had too much of a blast because I don't feel well at all today. But I thought, because I missed you guys so much, I missed being in this space. Thought I would come in and at least kick it off. Hey, Coral from across the pond. Good to see you, my friend. Um, but I don't think I'm gonna talk too much today because I just don't feel up to it. And the hubby's already wagging his finger telling me I need to get back in bed. So 24 years, you gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And I think he's right today. I,
All
I don't
right.
have much energy, but I did want to spend a few minutes with you guys. Today is Transformation Tuesday. It's a great topic. I think it's Brian's favorite day of the week. I think he really started to follow me on Transformation. Was it Transformation Tuesday or was it
Yep.
Wednesday, Brian? I thought it was Tuesday.
No, Transformation
Um,
Tuesday. Transform my life.
I appreciate that. That makes me feel so good to know that what you're putting out there is actually having an impact. I don't think we get any more blessed than that, to know that it's having an impact. Conchita says nothing like our southern hospitality, ma'am. Ma'am. Nothing like your food, nothing like your vibe, nothing like the atmosphere. I'm from Texas, so I'm Southern as well. But there's just something about going to Louisiana that is just like a big old hug. Everybody is so nice, and I've loved that state for as long as I can remember. And we ate a lot, we danced a lot, we drank a lot. We had a great trip, and but I'm glad to be back home and getting back into my normal routine. um, the thing that was my favorite part of the trip was our the day before Sunday. It was Sunday. On Sunday, we did the second line, and I've seen them many times before as a spectator. I've seen them on TV, that kind of thing. But Sunday was the first time that I had a chance to participate in one, and baby, we will always go and stay over now so that we're there on Sunday so we don't miss the second line. That was pure, authentic Louisiana. And it was so many people, and there was zero conflict. There was zero strife. There was zero drama. It was just people coming together, enjoying the music, enjoying themselves. And it was just a great time. So I can't wait to do that again, Conchita. Are you in Louisiana? Where are you? But you can let me know where you are. Like I said, I'm in the state of the capital. I'm in the Austin, Texas area. But yeah, we go to Louisiana as much as possible because it's just you're gonna have a good time and you're gonna be loved on by perfect strangers. So we really enjoyed ourselves. Hey Eric, welcome, welcome, welcome. I see you're outside. Are you doing your grounding or have you already done it? You're in the middle of it. That's awesome. So I got to
Really
ground.
windy, so if I'm not talking, I'll mute. And
Okay,
it's so good to see you,
it's
even
good
even
to
with the horse. It's
it
so
is
good to
good
see
to
you.
see you guys too. It's great to see y'all. I was so happy to be back. Our plane landed about 15 minutes early. What do you got there? What is that? Read the color because the brown makes it hard to read. What does that say?
It always seems impossible until it's done.
Until it's done. It always seems impossible until it's done. That's one I love that quote. And every time I think about that quote, it takes me back to the example. I can't remember which of the writers shared the example, but it was the 100-yard dash. For decades, it couldn't be done in under 11 point something, right? And there was all kinds of science and biology, and all these experts studied the human body, and they confirmed over and over and over again that it was an impossibility, that if a human moved that fast, that they would actually like have some sort of trauma to the body, that they may actually die, that it was just virtually impossible for us to run that fast. So it was impossible until somebody did it. And then once the one guy broke, and so many people had tried, but once the one guy broke the 100-yard dash and did it in 10 minutes, that same year, multiple people, I want to say like seven or something, multiple people did it in the same year because the impossibility of it, the limitation of the mind was lifted. It was broken because now there's no way it was impossible because at least one person did it. And if one person did it, you had all these great athletes going, well, if he can do it, I could do it too. I've raced him before. I train just like he does. So immediately what was thought to be impossible became possible. And so that's what you that quote makes me think about every single time. And so all those places in our minds where we think we've hit the ceiling and there's nowhere to go from here. I can't do any more than what I've done. That's a self-limiting belief. That's a limit of the mind. Because as soon as someone else does it, then magic, multiple people will accomplish that same thing and more. So thanks for sharing that, Eric. Conchita said that's a perfect quote for Transformation Tuesday. And Coral said, I love that, Eric. Good morning, Sonia. Conchita says she's in northern Louisiana near Grambling. All right, one of the greatest bands to ever do it. Let's go, Conchita. Okay. So I don't know if we're gonna get Denise today. Denise is traveling to Africa. And hopefully this is the last trip that she'll take without us, right, guys?
Amen to
Hopefully
that.
in the future we will
Yeah.
be us moving as the collective and we'll all be in Africa together. But we are wishing her the best. That woman is a woman on a mission. She goes to Africa often and she spends a lot of time there. And she works with the local community and brings to them opportunities and techniques to make money from home. And so she goes and she teaches ways that people can self-sustain and have the opportunity to positively impact their households and their community. So hats off to our sister Denise for doing what she does. And we're all excited because starting in February of next year, we'll be doing it as a collective and we'll all be moving from state to state and country to country, supporting her and bringing in our expertise as well. So the Fam Five will be on the move in 2024. Um, I think Conchita is right. That is a perfect quote. I had a quote pulled up and I shared it with you guys in the invite, but I really like the one you shared, Eric. So why don't you read that one more time, and then we will give each person a chance to share. I think Jay was on first, then Brian, and then you, Eric. And I'm actually going to mute and take it slow this morning. So Jay, keep the conversation going, and I'm gonna try and I'm gonna slowly work my way back in. But since I'm not feeling my best today, I at least wanted to see everybody and give you all a virtual hug. But I'm gonna let the Fam Five keep things moving while I kind of get back on the healthy side of things because I'm not there this morning. So go ahead and reread the quote, Eric, and then Jay, you take it from there.
Will do, sis.
It always seems impossible until it's done, by Nelson Mandela.
Wow. So today's Transformation Tuesday, and Cassandra is still recovering from partying, and that's okay. Sometimes you do have to take that time for yourself, celebrate the milestones in your life, right? And I think that's important to kind of understand for what we're talking about today, Transformation Tuesday. You know, milestones can be big events like an anniversary, right? But milestones could also mean things in your life that you just have to deal with on a daily basis. Sometimes it just means working a little harder for that next promotion, right? And then realizing that you are going to get that promotion. And so these are some of the things that I think about on Transformation Tuesday. What can I do, or how can I get to that point in my life where I'm going to be able to celebrate those milestones? And so some things have to be started off for me as a Christian. I start off with the Bible verse, and I do it all the time here. And I want to start off with Second Timothy, um, chapter 3, verse 16 and 17. All scripture is God breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so that the servant of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. And so these Bible verses, and this Bible verse in particular, to me means in order for me to realize transformation, sometimes I got to lean in on my faith. I got to lean into my culture and heritage. And in this case, I'm leaning into God by understanding his word. Gospel means good news. And so I'm using that. I use the gospel in my life to understand the good news that can come from it, right? It is good news already. But if I apply it to my life on a daily basis, then I will also experience that good news in my life. And that is, to me, Transformation Tuesday. Um, and it's great that you have that quote, especially from a man who transformed his country, who transformed the world as a result of his faith, as a result of leaning in to him, his culture, his heritage, and his faith.
In
So,
jail.
man, it's a really powerful message for all of us on Transformation Tuesday. A really powerful message, not just the message itself, but the messenger and how he lived his life as a testament to the power of faith and the power of the realization of that transformation. So I think that it definitely, um, sis, I know you came up with a quote, but brother Eric, he just hit it home right there. So with
Everything
that,
unfolds how it's supposed to, right? That
absolutely.
was the perfect quote for the day. And Eric just kind of threw in there from jail. Um,
Right.
many of us have put ourselves in jail mentally. by the limits that we put on ourselves. When we look at the example of a Nelson Mandela and we think about the fact that he was physically limited where he could go and where he couldn't, when he could eat, when he could go to the bathroom. They put every limit on him, and he was in this tiny jail cell. But they never were able to put limits on his mind. They were never able to put limits on his spirit. And because he was free indeed, he was free. They could chain his physical body, they could limit that. But because the man could not be jailed as the person, as at the core of who he was, he affected just as much, if not more, change and transformation for an entire nation from that little box that they limited him in. And so just imagine what we are able to do because we have the physical freedom. If we will go in and do the internal work to truly be free and free our minds of the limitations that we create, there's nothing that can limit us. We're only limited by our thoughts. We're only limited by what we believe. Just like the folks trying to run the 100-yard dash in 10 minutes. It was an impossibility. And science and nature and physics and all these different ways, they were proving that impossibility until somebody did it. And that's somebody that breaks whatever barrier that you're facing. There's no reason why it can't be you. You can be the one that goes, yes, it can happen. And then you just reach out and you do the work, you put the energy behind what it is. You may be that barrier breaker in your family. You may be that barrier breaker in your community. And sometimes it feels so overwhelming. It feels like a burden, but it's really a gift because you show those around you that the limitations are not actually there. We're constructing them by our own self limiting beliefs, but they only really exist between our ears and within our hearts. And when we start to do the work there, impossibilities go away. And Nelson Mandela and that quote is the paramount example of that. So thank you, Eric, for sharing that. We have a few more quotes that came in. My mom's shaking her hands and raising hands. And Conchita, thank you. I am sure I will feel better. Some rest and some water, and I'll bounce back. We've got Jose here with us today. He said, "Hello, Fam Five. Happy to see you all. Um, happy beginning of the day. The weather here is crazy, and it's flu season is growing. Yeah, I had some of that achy feeling yesterday, but I'm not going to let it stay. We're going to flush it right out of my system. And good morning, Dr. Don. We are glad that you guys are all here. Um, the Fam Five is continuing to cover on my behalf because even though I'm physically back, I'm operating on low today. But when you talk about Mandela, it's hard for me not to find a little energy to jump in there. So thank you for what you just said, Jay. And thank you for always bringing God into every conversation. That's one of the things my mom absolutely loves about you, and what she loves about the collective. She says we always give God the honor. We're not dumb, Mama. We know where our blessings come from, and yes, we do. We don't necessarily always talk about it, but trust and believe and understand that that is part of what has drawn us together. Our belief system, our love for God, our belief that what we're doing is directed by Him, and that He is daily, minute by minute, He's ordering our steps. He's bringing other people in. He's directing us in the things that our energy should be put into, and we do want to pay honor to our God for that very reason, and for just the fact that we're here. Brian always says it's a good day to be on this side of the grass, and you never know when you won't be on this side of the grass. But while we're here, we want to be as impactful and affect as much change as possible. And the only way that we really know how to do that is by following what the old folks used to say, Mama, the unction of the Holy Spirit. So that is a part of the glue that holds the Fam Five together. And I think it's the energy that pulled us together. Um, Conchita said, that's the high point for me as well. To God be the glory. Amen. All right. So let me be quiet. I'm starting to feel it. If my camera goes, you guys are welcome. That just keeps y'all from watching me sneeze and do all that stuff. So back over to you, Jay.
Thank you, Cassandra. I before we go to Brian, I just want to kind of recognize Jose. We're talking about Nelson Mandela and his time in captivity. Jose was also a man captive. He was held captive in in Venezuela, and he was there for 5 years, a prisoner of that country, and his faith brought him through that. And every time I see him in LinkedIn audio events, I always have to recognize him and the story that he has. As a storytelling strategist, I hated to come after him on an audio event because the story that he has blows mine away, and no pun intended there. But the story of resilience by Jose, is just a testament to that faith that he had. And so I think it's right that I recognize him, especially with the message that we just received today. And so
Absolutely.
I just want to bring some attention to that. What are we going to say,
Yeah.
Cassandra?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I agree with you wholeheartedly, and Jose, I hope you feel it with the love and respect that we all feel for you. It's hard to imagine, and it's funny. It was definitely an oversight on my part. So thank you for that, Jay, because Nelson Mandela, the world knows his story. The world somewhat knows of Jose's story as well. There was a lot of coverage about what happened. But Jose is up close and personal, and he's in these rooms with us every day. He's right down the street from me in Houston, and we've talked about doing some stuff together. But to know that 5 years in captivity, he kept his faith. The group of men that were in captive that were captive with him, and also his wife. One of the last stories, Jose, that I heard you tell, the most recent, he talked about his wife, and I don't remember the event, but there was something that him and his wife did every year. And those 5 years, while Jose was still in captivity, his wife still bought the ticket for that event. She
So-
can, she can go ahead, Eric.
Soccer tickets.
Was it soccer? Okay, I couldn't remember what he said, but she bought those tickets every year. And in buying those tickets every year, she was showing her faith. She was believing every single day that the story as it was unfolding was going to end with her husband being at home with her. And so sometimes we're not the captive, but every when something like this happens to somebody, they're the ones that are physically going through it, but there's so many people that are affected as well. And his wife carried the faith on the outside while Jose lived the faith on the inside. And that dynamic duo of the two, they believed God. They believed that he was going to deliver her husband back. Jose believed that he was going to be back on US soil and free. And now he tells his story. Let's see. I will list this Thursday TBT. The event was it was the Rose Parade. Okay. And she continued to buy those tickets so that that was nothing but an act of faith. And I got a real strong message from God earlier this year, where we've been really praying for a family member of mine. Um, and God told me to tell her to stop asking for what she wanted and to start praising him for having it, and start to already deal with life as if her blessing had already come through. And I think that's a lesson for all of us is, yes, we pray out of, the needs and wants and things like that, but when you truly believe, you believe that it's already, that transformation has already come. So your prayers are prayers of gratitude, not prayers of want. And that was a pivotal moment for me when I felt that message, and it was such a clear direction. Tell her to start praying from a point of gratitude. Tell her to start seeing herself enjoying that very thing that she's asked me for. So even in our prayer life, the visualization and the seeing it as if it already is such an important part of that process. Um, Oh, Jose said he's going to post that event this Thursday. All right, Jose, I hope we're not stealing your thunder. But that was such an impactful. I could literally see your wife buying those tickets, and it was something that just really impacted me in the most positive way because all I could think of was faith. And while you were walking in your faith in captivity, she was walking that faith for you on this side until you guys were reunited. And it's only been a little bit over a year, I believe. I think we heard his 1 year anniversary recently. So to think to go from being in captivity for 5 years to now having a year, a lot happens in 5 years. The world that Jose knew was different when he came back. So just imagine the catching up and the believing. Yeah, I think you would have to even catch up with the fact that you're home. There's just so much that I can't even imagine. I can't wait to read your book, Jose. I know it's pre-sale is going on. Write the name of your book, please. And I'll tell everybody what that is. But the pre-sale of that is going on right now. I can't wait to read it. It's just your story is on par with the Nelson Mandela story, and I'm so grateful that Jay made that connection. And I do not believe that it's by accident that you're here for this particular discussion. So very glad that you're here. He said his wife is his true hero. And I think in response to me saying, I hope we're not stealing your thunder, Jose said, oh no, this is Conchita. That's confirmation for me today. Pray as if it's already manifested in the physical. That's right. That's exactly right. Um, his book is From Hero to Villain, the true story of the Sidco Six. So if you guys are on LinkedIn, which most of you that are watching today are, he's if you go to Jose's page, you'll see where the pre-sale information is. And I think we should run it up, guys. Help him make this a bestseller. Just to welcome him back to the world as he knew it and what had changed in those last 5, now 6 years. And just to wish him and his wife so much more blessings beyond the struggles that they had to go through during those 5 years. Your struggle was not in vain. Every single thing happens for a reason. And Jose is such a beautiful example of that because he's out here trying to reach other people. He's sharing his story and he's making sure that we understand what faith and not giving up can do for you. He went from being a corporate executive to someone who didn't get to decide when and what he ate overnight. So the story is compelling. And what's really compelling is he's right here in the flesh, and all of us have access to him through LinkedIn and through the events that he does. So, all right, Jay, I'll let you take it back, and we'll keep going.
Thank you, Cassandra. Before I talk anymore, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Brian. He's been waiting to talk to us and share. I know he's chomping at the bit. So, B, go ahead, man. Talk to us.
That's funny, Jay. It's like you know me so well. No, I haven't been chomping at the bit. This morning's kind of slow. The weather's changing, time's changing. I'm reacclimating my body and my mind to this new uh, way of life, right? With the time changing and the season changing. So I'm just kind of moving slow and listening, and everything. It's funny when you have the time to sit back and listen instead of talking. You hear so much of what you already know to be true, and it's encouragement, right? When you hear it coming from the people that are close to you, the same thing that you've said over and over again, and it hasn't materialized yet. Sometimes you can feel like, oh, this is never going to work out. But when you hear that coming from the people that you look up to, and you see what they're going through, and they still have that same mentality, it gives you a sense of confidence. Something that Cassandra and I talk about all the time is life is not Seeing to believe is believing to see. And when you pray, you have to pray in thanksgiving, right? Pray for it because you know it's already yours. I think about my kids and how they, when they come to me, they don't come to me and say, Dad, are you going to give us some food tonight? They say, what's for dinner, right? Because they already know, oh, I'm going to eat, right? There's no question. He's going to feed us. I don't know what I'm going to eat, but I know he's going to feed us. I know he's going to give us some supply tonight. And you have to have that same mentality in your daily walk, in your prayer life, in the way you interact with others, when you're feeling down. And it kind of leads me into something. I say this all the time. I only got like 2 followers on Twitter, but I got like 2,000 tweets. Like nobody follows my tweets, but it's a good way for me to get my thoughts out. So I asked myself something on Twitter the other day. Do you love yourself enough to walk away from something that can bring you down? Do you love yourself enough to walk away from something that can bring you down? And the first thing that goes into your head is, well, is it a person? Is it a thing? Is it a habit? Right? But you should really think about your former self. Can you walk away from who you used to be, the way you used to think, the things you used to do, if they're bringing you down, to be that person that you know you need to be? You have to move with intentionality. Everything starts with intention, right? So it starts with intention, and then it's an action, and that action becomes a practice. And then that practice turns into consistency. And then that consistency becomes a habit. And then that habit becomes who you are. So you have to have this intentionality in your life when we're talking about transformation. This, what I'm doing right now, was part of a transformation for me. Up until now, I hadn't really considered being live, being having my voice being recorded, having my physical likeness being recorded, having my thoughts being recorded. Like that wasn't something that we encouraged. That wasn't something we participated in. That just wasn't something we did. But as time grows, as business changes, as life changes, you have to adapt and you have to let go of the things that are holding you back, the things that are keeping you down, the things that are keeping you from growing. So when you think about transformation, I think about walking away from the things that are holding me down. And it starts with intentionality. That's my take for today. Are you able to walk away from the things that are holding you down? Start today. Make it a habit and let that habit become your new you.
That's the to me, I think that's the definition of Transformation Tuesday. Absolutely. And you have to definitely come from a place of intention to do that. You Cassandra, I just want to go back a little bit to what you were talking about earlier. You use the word unction. I'm going to use another word that goes back, and I'm going to take you to church. Supplication. So in supplication, we are pleading, we are begging, right? And that's okay. In times of distress, there is definitely room for supplication. But if you're trying to just go through life and make it through the day, you do have to have that intentionality in you that you will make it through that day. You will have received a blessing at the end of that day, even if it was a struggle, right? And so when we talk about intentionality and the blessings that we receive, right? Follow me now. You are not saying, I need this. I'm begging you, Lord. You already are receiving the blessing once you have that intentionality, that faith that it's already been received. And I think that's beauty in understanding what transformative messages can have in your life, especially if it's faith based, right? For us, it's Christianity. For us, it's God, it's the Bible. Some people may just have the faith in humanity, in your own humanity. And so this is something to consider today. And we're talking about Nelson Mandela. We're talking about our friend Jose and not being confined either by physical means or by mental means, right? That is something I believe in my whole heart of hearts that this message is truly important. Again, leaning into that faith, leaning into your culture, your heritage, and the fact that your ancestors basically came through it and survived. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to Eric this morning. I know he's been frantically writing away what he's gonna say next. Uh, I love you, brother. Go ahead, talk to us.
We were on an audio room last night, and one of the good morning, everybody. I'm sorry, I just jumped straight in. Good morning, Grand Rising. It's a blessing to be here this morning. As my brother Brian always says, to be on this side of the grass. So grounding, joining you from outside in North Carolina. It's a bit cold this morning, but we here, so you know we appreciate it. We're grateful. So I have been busy taking notes because again, last night when we were in our audio room, it was an opportunity really to see how uh, we better ourselves, and it was clear in the way that that improves what we do. And so, yes, I have to keep notes. If I don't keep notes, then I won't be able um, to follow you, sir, ever. So, which is hard enough as a task already. But a few of the things that I did pick up from, especially from you, B, because I learned so much from you. Um, Life is about believing to see. For me, it was small, but just so impactful. Especially how, as Cassandra mentions often, how I use believing and achieving. Especially in my trauma informed care consulting. I think that's one of the more difficult things to do, but one of the more important things to do right away initially is to have that alignment and understanding with someone I'm working with. We're gonna believe to achieve, right? We're going um, to understand that and appreciate that it's already ours. It's already ours, right? So let's walk in that. Let's walk in confidence. Let's walk in faith. That sacrifice has been made. That promise has been given, and so understand and walk in faith, right? And so um, I appreciate your words this morning, Brian. I certainly didn't know that this was going to inspire uh, today's conversation. So that's amazing because as you can see, it's a new journal, right? I'm starting on the first page, and I did that. Decided to do that because of just you coming back from your anniversary. I felt like this was another beginning of what is to come from Fab Five. So we're starting a new journal. Uh, Jay, thank you for acknowledging Jose. The parallel between the stories was masterful. It's something that uh, I've come to know that your greatness sees effortlessly, those parallels in stories. And I I want to acknowledge you for acknowledging Jose because he is an incredible man. His story is incredible. We look forward to getting his book and continuing to support you, Jose. So, um, and I apologize for getting the soccer term. For some reason, I think because of the tournament of or the parade of roses is outside of the Rose Bowl, that I might have thought of the soccer game, football game, or something. But absolutely, it was which is like in the South too. The band is more important than football game. I'm a Northerner. I really came to watch the football game. But again, we've diverted. Thank you for acknowledging Jose. Jose, thank you for being here. We appreciate you, sir. We thank you for telling your story. It inspires people every time you tell it. So keep getting your story out there, brother. We appreciate you. Cassandra, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. First, foremost, and at the end, happy anniversary. We appreciate you being back with us. Um, we know the fear of missing out is real, but we did a diligent job of keeping notes, and we're happy to have you back with us. And congratulations on your anniversary, 25 more years, sister. Back to you, Jay.
Absolutely happy anniversary, Cassandra. And you know, I always in my family, every time we take a vacation, I always say this at the end. I need a vacation from my vacation. I it's a it's a chore. When you get back and you get back, try to get back into the swing of things, sometimes you get hit with the flu, right? Sometimes you just want to throw stuff in your room and not have to sort it out and just rest. And Cassandra, you need a rest. You need to take a rest. We love you. We know that you want to be in the midst of things, but just take some time for yourself.
Yep.
At
I
least
love
at
I
least
love
today.
you guys for being such a great support system. Send me the quotes for the next couple days and I'll get everything set up. But I am going to rest because my body is telling me that I have to. And my husband is side eyeing me for not being in bed right now resting because last night I couldn't even breathe, so I had to kind of prop myself up to get as good of sleep as I could. So I appreciate you guys for being the support system that you are and making it easy for me to rest. So I'm not saying I won't be reading those notes and getting caught up while I'm laying down and resting. Y'all, if y'all look FOMO up in the Urban Dictionary, y'all gonna find me like this. I was struggling. I missed all of this so much. As much as I enjoyed my vacation, as much as I love my husband and us being able to get away and do some stuff, this is such a part of my everyday that I missed it. And so I did want to come back and plug in just a little bit. But yes, I do have to get some rest. There were a few other quotes that came in. America's Supermom, none other than Miss Lachelle Atkins, joined us this morning, and she said, "Great morning, all." Um, Brian, after you spoke, Conchita said, "Powerful, Brian, powerful." You also got some, and indeed from Dr. Don, and Conchita said it becomes a lifestyle. So what you shared really resonated. Um, my mom has her hands up and she's clapping and she said, "Come on, Jay." Dr. Don said, "Good morning to you, Eric." Coral said, "Yes, we walk in faith." And Eric, she said she loves the outdoorsy reflections from you. And Jose said, "Thanks, my friend." And that he was sending his love to everybody. So it has been, oh, he's sharing more, Coral, of the outside. He was on Instagram last night. I think I may have still been on the plane because we got back 15 minutes prior to when we were supposed to arrive. So we ended up just sitting on the tarmac, but they let us turn our phones and stuff back on. And at one point, I saw Eric on. Oh no, I had made it home by then. Eric was on Instagram and he was grounding and he was just sharing this beautiful view and how the sunlight was shining through those magnificent trees. and it was just a great way to get back, get reconnected, have a little. I had some virtual nature, and I loved every moment of it. Um, Coral said, "Oh, bless you, Eric." So she's enjoying what you are sharing. So I am definitely going to take another couple days and just recharge my battery and let this gunk get out of my system. So the fam four or maybe three, because like I said, Denise is in Africa or on her way. So I don't know if she'll join us at all this week, but the guys will hold it down. And maybe, and somebody said, oh, I think it was Brian talked about the ability to listen. I listened to you guys one day last week, and it was, and I said it to my mom, I think it was, that I'd never been in the audience before. And it was so nice to be in the audience and just see you guys doing what you're doing. Um, and so it was a good point of view. I got a chance to appreciate you all and then what we're doing in general from a different point of view. So that was really nice. So I'm not saying I won't listen in from my bed with the headphones on so my husband can't hear me.
Can I ask you a question about that experience?
Yeah,
How, like when you were, can you feel this energy? Because folks always
absolutely.
that there's an energy between us, and they see the magnetism, they see the bond, the love between us. Is that something that you felt like you could feel being in the audience?
Absolutely. I think the connection is the thing that rang through the most. I was like, man, it's one heart that's beating during this time together. And that was really I could feel that. That came through really loudly for me. Um and the other thing that I really liked is because we've all arrived at this place from different journeys, we all have a little bit of a different twist in what we share and how we share. So the collective will reach a lot more people because everybody's not gonna, want to hear my woohoo. Everybody may not want to listen to Eric's in the grass. Everybody may not want to hear Jay's Bible verse. There's but when you bring the collective together, I think we can reach a broader audience because we're different yet the same. We have a very similar heart and desires for the world, but how we're going to put that out there is different. And I felt that difference in the most positive way when I was in the audience as well. So I enjoyed that. Uh-oh, Linda Coleman says, "Good morning, all from Central Illinois. Cassandra, it would have bothered you and not allowed you to rest. So regret is not fun. And moms try to do it all. Hopefully, feel better soon. And I always share tips. Vicks vapor rubs on the bottom of your feet, rubbed in good, and white socks will help you get better. And God winks in life can help us get to the place He wants us to be. Bless you all. Glad I caught your talk. Linda, thank you so much. I had forgotten about that. I was looking for my Vicks last night. I was going to put a little bit on my chest and just under the nose because when I can't breathe, if I can just get a little bit of that going, it opens me up enough that I can lay down more and sleep. I forgot about the feet though. That's magic. So I am definitely going to do that. I'm going to ask my husband to go and get me a fresh jar, so I have enough to do what I need to do. So thank you for caring enough to drop your message and share your tips from Central Illinois. I appreciate you, Linda. So I'm going to leave you guys with one more quote, and the author of the quote is unknown, but I think it really fits as a wrap up for today. And good morning, Valerie. And it is my heartfelt desire for each of you, whether you're watching this live or you catch it later on. The unknown author said, "Your time as a caterpillar has expired. Your wings are ready." And anybody who knows the caterpillar knows that or knows the butterfly knows it begins in not the most beautiful state, right? It's confined, it looks weird, it's in the dark, and it struggles in that space as it expands and eventually it pops out of its cocoon, and eventually this thing that we love so much just to look at, the butterfly, emerges. But it's a process, it's a journey. And my sincere desire for you is to recognize where you are in your journey and be prepared to spread your wings. Understand that your time as a caterpillar has expired. Take on your wings and allow them to take you where you were uniquely designed to go. Follow your path, even if you can only see the very next step. Sometimes I think that's the best. When we can't see too far down the road, we can really focus on what it is that we are to do next. So, Just Enough Light for the Step That I'm On is a book that I loved years ago. So, even if it's just that next step that's lit, take it, expand those wings, and allow yourself to fly into the version of you that is this season of you. All right. I'm going to leave you guys with that. And I'm going to open up the floor. Jay, Brian, Eric, anything you guys want to say in closing?
Uh, I I think that in totality, um, today, if we just look back at how the conversation started, it
Mhm.
started with just sharing, and it was a simple gesture, but it allowed us to come away with an even stronger message and an even stronger idea and perspective of how Transformation Tuesday could actually be transformative.
Mhm.
And for me, that means a lot because as the storytelling strategist, sharing our stories can be transformative for somebody. It
Yeah,
can help somebody. Maybe our struggle could be the blueprint for somebody to get through their struggle, their adversity. And I'm saying this a lot more because this has been my calling. This is what I'm leaning into. Other than my faith and my DNA, this is what I'm leaning into, my purpose now. I want to help others tell their story, right?
absolutely.
Because it can, I believe, be that blueprint for somebody else.
Yep.
Um, so I think I'll end with that.
I love that. And even if it's not their blueprint, their path to get from where they are to it, it at least is a proof point. Like the person doing the 10-minute mile. It's the proof point. How you train, how you get there. Your blueprint may be a little different, but it at least shows you that it's possible to get through. I want people who have experienced some of the things that I've experienced to go, "Oh, she came out okay on the other side. She has a good life on the other side. She's still smiling. She has connections that, there's life on the other side of this difficult time." And I think all of us show that every single day just by showing up and telling our story, like you said. Jose, powerful. You may not be physically, you may not be physically imprisoned, but if you're imprisoned even within your mind, I can show you that there's life on the other side of captivity. And so that's what I really believe we do every single day. At least that's one of the things that holds us together is we have that deep desire. I'll show you my warts if that can help you suffer from them that much quicker. If you don't have to have a wart by me showing you your mine, hey, that's great. Mine wasn't in vain. If you know how to get rid of yours because I showed you my process, that's great. Mine wasn't in vain. And I think that's something that we all have in common. Thank you, Veronica. I am 100% sure that I will be feeling better quickly. Dr. Don said, welcome back from vacation. Thank you, Dr. Don. Valerie said, be in the present moment. Steps are the best. Absolutely. And Dr. Don said, yes, always be present and in the moment. And Dr. Don resonated with you, Jay. He says, always stories lay out a blueprint. And he also said, journey, fork in the road, but the blueprint, the map guides me which way to go. And he also said, congratulations to Jose. All right. Did anyone else have anything, Brian or Eric? Any closing thoughts? Nothing from Eric. Okay. Let's see. Brian is all right. Brian's, oh, there he is. Did you want to
Thanks,
say
everyone.
anything, Brian? I
Nah,
saw you came off mute.
yeah, I was just saying thanks.
All right.
As a thought progressive leader, it's really important
Mm-hmm.
to focus on these examples. We are the example of transformation. You went from just you being on here to one, two, three, four of the fam five being on here. Usually it's five of us, right? To me, that's a powerful
Mm-hmm.
transformation, right? And it signifies that if you take those daily steps, one step at a time, everything can change in the blink of an eye. So I just want to say
Absolutely.
thank you to everyone that's in the audience for continually showing up, and to everyone on stage for taking the time out of their morning to make sure we show up for Cassandra.
Thank you, Brian. And you guys are showing up for the Fam Five. We are all showing up for each other. I do appreciate you all supporting me. I'm gonna sleep well after this, knowing that my baby is in good hands, and my baby is now our baby. I don't even claim it anymore. Dr. Don, we love you too. Jose said, great. Thanks to everybody. Wonderful room as always. Linda offering hope to others by sharing a story of life being done and moving forward. Have a day filled with God's blessings. Thank you, Dr. Don. I will feel better. And so, with that, we're going to close it with the butterfly. Your season as a caterpillar, your time as a caterpillar has expired. So accept your wings, guys. Accept your wings. Eric is showing the quote again that got it all going. You want to read it one more time, Eric, and we'll close it with that.
It always seems impossible until it's done. Nelson Mandela.
There it is. There it is.
Walk
And
in
we are
faith
all
today.
proof. We are all proof that it can be done. Whatever it is, it can be done. All right. So we are here to show somebody else that what they felt like is an impossible situation, they can get through and thrive and have a wonderful life on the other side. So with that, the Fam Five will be back. Some version of the some formation will be back tomorrow for Wake Up Wednesday at 7:15 Central. And on Wake Up Wednesday, we talk about being intentional. So intentionality will be the topic in some form tomorrow. So with that, you guys have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Thanks, Fam Five. I love you. Thanks everybody for joining. And I will see you guys as my health allows. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye bye. Blessings.